Hello, hello! I am Eerie Deary, devilish artist here to curse you with a smile. Welcome to my spooky studio. Today I'm going to be showing, the process of a painting I made recently. And I'll talk more about it while we're going, but just wanted to let you know I'm going to be hanging out up here and yapping a bit. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, here we go, starting with thumbnails. Just sort of small sketches that let you plan out what you want to do before you hit that canvas. The blank canvas can be kind of scary, and so like having a little plan before you go in can be really nice. My idea for this painting was a vampire, and her eyes are closed, but she's holding a mask, and the mask is looking back at you. So I'm trying these poses where it's kind of a shoulders up sort of situation, and they're holding the mask. I want it to be obvious that their eyes are closed and that there's something supernatural going on. Alright. I'm sorry for the arm jump scare. I'm still figuring out how to film these well. Maybe I'll get some cute gloves or something. I'm not sure. Like, I've just got a whole arm here that I could decorate. Alright, so I think I'm nearing the end of my sketches. I am getting impatient at this point. I would really like to get some paint on the canvas. Alright, good enough. Let's get some paint. I use artist acrylic paints, though you can also paint with craft paints. It's just that the two kinds of paints don't mix terribly well. One of them, artist paints, are much thicker, and craft paints are much thinner. You can do things to acrylic to make it thin. Okay. Alright, got the paint on the canvas. I had to distract myself there. It's kind of scary. So I'm just going to be getting a nice, even-ish coat of, like, a background color. This color is not really going to be seen later on, but the undertone I think is really nice. There's some hesitancy here, thinking about making the, like, sort of the top, like, a little darker than the bottom, kind of having a gradient here. And I'm using a big old brush. It's a filbert type, so it's rounded on the edges. And it gives like this really pretty, like, seamless look when you do some layered brush strokes with it. And you can do that with other brushes too, of course, but I really like this kind of brush for getting a background down. Alright, so we're finishing up, going crazy, just whoa! Because now, once we finish this part, we're gonna have to start getting a little more precise. Like, okay, time for the rest of it. Alright. Cleaning off my brush. I'm using acrylics, so they are water-based, luckily. All I really need to do is rinse off my brushes with some water. If I need the paint to be thinner, I can thin it out with some water. There's also different mediums you can mix in. There's all sorts of things. Alright, what you just saw was me kind of plotting out the major points of the painting and then quickly, sort of lightly sketching them out. It's not the greatest contrast at this moment. And so I've kind of doing the middle thumbnail, sort of like this kind of the 3/4 view of the face, holding the mask in front, obscuring one eye. I put a hand in it. I love painting, and I do love when things turn out, you know, really cool. And I love a good dramatic sort of hand pose. But then it's always like, oh, come on, me. Do we really need to paint more hands? But I digress. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm working in the negative space. So the positive space, our subject would be the vampire. and the negative space is everything around them that's on the canvas. And so I'm just filling that in with kind of a darker color, keeping in mind that this isn't really going to show up that much. I'm going to layer a lot over this, but it's starting to give me an idea of what shapes I'm working with. Because I have an idea about some of the specifics, but it's also a matter of making it fit on the canvas in an interesting way, making it sort of draw in the eye. And so I've got a good shape down now, and I think that it's time to move on to the next step. After I clean my brush, of course. Take good care of your brushes; they take care of you. It's only fair. All right, here we go, me. Stop messing around. All right, getting some white. Going to mix sort of a light pink. Gonna get this mask base in, just kind of where the shape is going to go. And, whew, all right, here we go. Starting on the face, kind of blocking it in, keeping in mind sort of where the rest of the elements are. Blocking in the hand, always scary. And right now the mask kind of looks like a tuxedo mask sort of situation. I think it ends up still kind of being that, but less so later on. It's always a little bit scary when you get to this part of the painting, like where it's starting to come together, but also there's still so much left to go. And there's going to be a couple places in any art process where everything looks like a mess. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to become anything at all. But you gotta keep pushing forward through that, because there's some great art and creativity awaiting on the other side. Alright, continuing to add in some details. Sort of getting some details of the shirt. I'd like it to be puffy sleeves, almost a Victorian sort of vibe. Oh gosh, we're going right in on the eye. Okay, also, note to me, don't use your fingers on your paintings. Maybe use those brushes, that's what they're for. Blocking in some lips. Putting the eyes in the mask. So we're starting to block out some of these details, keeping everything kind of loose. It definitely doesn't have to be perfect at this point, or ever, really. Perfection is kind of a hard concept to chase after, but if I try to aim for making something that I enjoy, that I like, that I think, hey, maybe someone else might like this too. And that's okay. Like, it never has to be perfect. In fact, you could probably look at the most perfect piece of art ever, and the artist would be like, oh, there's all these flaws in it, which I definitely get that. But to the viewer, I have to remember, to the viewer, they don't see all of everything that you imagined when you were making this piece. They don't see the HD version of it in your mind. They get to see the final product, and, like, I don't know, it's kind of beautiful. You can definitely, explain what you're going for, show progress pictures, things like that. But at some point, it's just getting lost in the process and doing things the way you want to do it. All the technique in the world, it's wonderful, but I think it all serves this idea of expressing yourself most of all. The techniques exist to help you express yourself, in my opinion. Alright, so now that we've gotten some details blocked out, going back in with this darker color and working on this negative space again, trying to sort of hone in on the drawing, make sure that the face and the hair are sort of in relation to each other the way I want, and kind of doing this dramatic sort of shoulder pop a little bit at the same time. you can really add a lot of personality as you're building up these paintings, and things might happen that you couldn't have even predicted in your thumbnail sketches or your imaginings. Uh, Things just kind of happen. As Bob Ross says, happy accidents. Alright, getting into the hair, getting more into the details of the shadows on the face. This is the part where it's all gonna start feeling a little bit weird. The values, the shades of dark and light, are they take a while to come together, let's say. Why am I always blocking the interesting stuff with my hand? I'm gonna have to figure that out. Like, I drew a whole hand, and I was blocking it with my hand. That's just not very helpful. For this hair, I really had in mind, like, the idea of, like, almost a powdered wig vibe, but maybe done with, like their own hair. It's very, like dressed up. Thinking a little bit about the, I guess, like, the court sort of styles, in the Rococo period. Also, with the clothes, I was thinking Victorian period, and that's the cool thing about making art. You can just put whatever you want in there. Alright. So, right now I'm blocking in some white for... Oh, and I keep using the term blocking in, but basically what that means is sort of putting chunks of color on the canvas. Just kind of doing the shape of it without worrying too much about the details. Sort of going, this is where this goes. So whenever I say I'm blocking something in, I'm basically just... It's planning and painting at the same time, if that makes sense. Alright, making the sleeves poofy! Make them poofier! Yes! Alright. Sorry, that's just nice. I like that. I'm allowed to like my own painting. Right, we're gonna add a little bit of an outline around the mask, just to make it stand out from the face a bit more. Dang it, me. Stop blocking me. I'm experimenting right now with doing a darker mask versus a lighter mask. Just sort of seeing what's gonna work best with the color scheme here. You stop that. Use your brushes, you. Alright, we're just gonna fill it in. We're not doing the buttons yet. Okay, alright. It's always okay to be like, this isn't working now. Let's try it later. Kind of crisping up some of these details. And as you go more detailed, your brushes are gonna get smaller. Well, you'll want to switch to smaller brushes to be able to get those smaller details. I think at this point, I'm realizing this hair is not okay at the moment. Like, I do like how poofy it is, but I think at this point, I've been thinking in the back of my mind, like, oh, what am I gonna do about that? I want it to be poofy, but it's kind of looking strange. But in any case, it's time to sort of sharpen up that jaw and neck area. I think it's good to do like a shadow underneath the chin/jaw area. It sort of implies that the head is sort of hanging over the neck, blocking some light with its shape. Now, since we've added in some darks, we're going to add in some lighter colors. And this is the part where it's so scary, because it already, like, looks pretty cool. And then it's like, oh, but I want it to look even cooler. But what could happen? And when things get scary, go back to the background. You know, like, if you are having trouble making a choice about what to do in one area, just move on to another area. Like, the other one will be there. It'll be there for you. Or even move to a different project. Oh, are we fixing the hair? Oh, okay, working on the shirt. That's fair. I really do like a sort of button placket kind of Victorian vibe. I love it in EGL, Lolita clothing as well. Alright, finishing up the background. Well, maybe not finishing. It's a lot of sort of wiggling the shapes back and forth. You wiggle the negative space in, then you wiggle the positive space out. And you wiggle it in, and you wiggle it out until the lines and the edges are in exactly, or mostly, the right place. Alright, for the hair, I did want a powdered wig kind of look, even if it's maybe a little small to be an actual powdered wig. So I'm adding lots of white, but not pure white. There's no pure white or black in this painting. I've been using just purple, pink, and white. But the white is very diluted with other colors, as you can see on my definitely real, professional, very real artist palette that is not a paper plate. I don't know what you're thinking, but it's not. Okay, it is. But they really do make good palettes, in my defense. Alright, working on the hand. Oh, I hate it. Oh, no, I don't hate the hand, but okay. Fingers. Fingers are hard. Like, having them bending kind of around is just... I often end up using my own hand, kind of just holding it up in front of my face and drawing at the same time. Which is good when I need the left hand. And there, you can always make your own references too. You can just have someone take a picture of you or take a picture of yourself for your own hands. Oh, that's my cat. Hi. She often likes to watch me while I paint, but then she gets mad when I can't give her pets right away. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Alright, sorry about that. I love my cat very much. She's my little buddy. Okay. Going in with some more of that white, just a little bit lighter. Right now I'm using a small half-inch flat brush and using it sort of holding it sideways, so instead of like hitting the canvas with all of the bristles at once, sort of holding it so that it's a vertical line coming down, and you're using about like half of the bristles really. And it creates these kind of interesting lines and nice shapes, I think. I am all about the shapes. Let me tell you. Alright, now we're trying to make that hand stand out a little bit more, messing with the hair. Because we're going to have to make some contrast between the hand and the hair, or else it'll melt together a bit. Ooh, that was a nice brush stroke. That was a nice one, me. Oh! What happened to my video? Uh-oh. Oh no, was that it? Uh-oh. It was at this moment I realized that something happened to the rest of my footage. Or maybe I forgot to even hit record in the first place. But the rest of my video of that painting is gone. Well, I still want to post what I have so far, because maybe it could be interesting to someone. And I'll go ahead and show you the finished painting now. Please learn from my mistakes. Double check that you're recording. Triple check that you're recording. And then... Oh, back up your files a lot. And that is the moral of today's episode of Eerie does some art and then has technical difficulties. And here it is. I think the final painting turned out quite well. Most of what the lost footage was darkening the background further, adding the eyes, darkening the mask to give it lots of contrast. I spent some time layering on some purple onto the blouse and some white. Uh, it was really just continuing doing what I had been doing, and I think I ended up with optimal hair poofiness, and that is something to be proud of. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope for myself that I have all the footage next time. Thanks for stopping by my spooky studio. I hope you have a great day.